Hello, my friends. Today we'll be talking about cats, cats from Ukraine, and not only. So please subscribe and ask your question that you may have to Ukraine animal volunteer. Let's wait until people subscribe to the stream, and meantime we can code our application for the cat management. Meow meow meow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. One of my cats. Uh, Hoping somebody of you already get up because it's 7 p.m. in Ukraine, but on your side, I think it's around morning. Yeah, range. What do you say? Hi, friends. We are talking here about cats and a cat's rescue. That's one of my lovely cats. I have 13 of them here in my apartment in Kiev. Uh, this one has only three legs because one leg he lost in the engine of the car. That's basically when I met him in the clinic and took to my home. So he a little bit disabled, but that doesn't mean that he not living his best life. It's basically the fastest cat that I have in all my cats here, and he always making some noise, like right now. um, but there are like more many cats that I have. I have I had two shelters where we have almost 200 cats, and more around 60 of them we are feeding outside. So that's a pretty big number, especially for Ukraine and our current situation. I said had because a few days ago we closed one of the our shelters because we just not enough of money to support it. So we migrated all our cats from it to our first shelter, and it's a bit crowded right now, but we can't do anything else because the situation is pretty bad. I mean, from finance part, because feeding, treating, and supporting clinic for 200 cats, it's not cheap, even in Ukraine. I know that guys on your side, it's taking much more money. Uh, so, but still, even in Ukraine, that's not small numbers, at least for two disabled persons, basically me and my colleague Helena, who are working in the shelter. So for example, for 1 month, we're spending around $35,000 for all these cats. And that's in a good month, because if we have some pandemic in shelters, that's total insane. So for the last such thing, I got debt around 6 million hryvnias. It's around $140,000, something like that. So not so small numbers even for USA, but for Ukraine, that's just hell insane number. And that's just one case of pandemic in the shelter. So that's hard. But please ask questions. I will try to answer. If you're interested in something, tell me about your cats and your situation. Maybe you also have some rescued cats in your home. That's my another cat. That's Bruce. Yeah, he's a very tender cat. Always like to kissing me. Yeah. Мій маленький. Дьо, 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 дьо. О, такий котик. Ну не показуй попу, не показуй. He was living outside my office of previous job, and um, one day when I was feeding him, he was afraid to come close to me. So one day when I was feeding him, he let me pet him, and I understood that that was my only chance to grab him and save from the street. So I grab him, we start a fight. No, not from the start. So basically, I grab him and move with him to the office, but almost at the door to the office, he understands that something going wrong. That someone grabbed him and moving somewhere. So he started a fight with me, and that was hard. He basically chew few my hands. Piss on me, poop on me. And the most scary thing was just to get him away, but also to do something with him because I need to grab him very strong, so so he didn't run away. But cats are very small creatures, so doing that it can basically damage him. So I was afraid to do that. But anyway, I got him, put him in the office, then run to the nearest shop for the cage for him, and we get to the clinic. And after the clinic, he get to my home, and now he is the biggest lover in my apartment, always sleeping with me. Um, every morning he starts with me also, kissing me. So very interesting cat. I have more of them. I can show you. Uh, that's a bandit. That's a Mexican. Клякса. That's Квіточка. That's I don't. That's another black cat. I call him Tsumun. It's kisser on English. So the hi Konstantin. So we have a big crowd here of cats, and that's very interesting type of living. You're never alone, and there's always something happening at your home. So please ask questions. Let's do some dialogue here, because talking heads, that's not the best thing. Um, anyone? Friends say who have cats from the streets and their home? I always dreamed of a sphinx, but I met a kitten near the basement. Now he's a part of my family. I thought that the sphinx would be bought anyway. That's a really good story. I like to hear story like that. And thanks for saving little kitten. I also have small kitten here somewhere. He always asking for food. Um, I also saved her from the street when I was after surgery, lying near the river at the house of my grandmother. I just basically that was the first time I go out to the street from home after the surgery, and I met a small kitten, basically in a palm, and she was alone without her mother, without food. First of all, I fed her, but after she eaten that very fast, I understand that she need help and took her home, and now she's living with me somewhere. Kitsune. I would take her 1 second. Kitsune. So this is she. I call her Kitsune. Yeah, it's a little fox in Japan mythology. Basically, little demon. Ja. 8 cats, that's a big crowd. I have 13 of them, but 8 cats are also a big number. But I started that from 1 cat, um, as many people, I think. And then cat by cat, and now cats everywhere. um, wow. Yeah, transferring cat from Ukraine to Texas. Yes, that's a huge story. I understand you. That's not simple stuff, especially now, and especially from Ukraine because it's hard to get all the papers here for transfer, and that's hard to make sure that cat will be fine during the moving, because not all flights give access to put animal in the cabin of the flight, and you need to pass it as a baggage, but that's a bad story. Better not do that. um, but almost every flight have limited places for cats. I don't know why. So most of them, that's one animal per flight, and very hard to get that place for your animal, because first of all it's a big amount of animals that want to go somewhere, and another they're like very short time frame to get all this paper and get on the fly with the cat. So yeah, I understand that, and that's why we didn't move our animals abroad, because basically it's impossible. If I want to give animals to someone abroad Ukraine, I need to basically move this animal with me if I want to be sure that this animal will be alive. And that's impossible because I can't live in Kiev, not saying about Ukraine. Because as you know, all men in Ukraine are soldiers. Even if you're disabled and can't barely walk, that's not a problem. Lucy, also that big cat bandit that I showed you, I took him from the street last year, winter, in January, I mean. And basically, first time that I met him, he was very afraid, alone, and it was visible that he was a home cat, and somebody just threw him away because I understand that he doesn't understand what need to be done on the street, how to get food, and he was just sitting on a concrete in the winter during the snow, and just barely, just basically slowly dying. I fed him, tried to catch him, but he ran away, and I was very disappointed because I basically thinking that the last time I see him alive. But next days I just basically I was walking away, walking around my house a few times a day to check every place that he can hide. And on the second day I met him. He was even worse, barely move, was looking not good at all. And I fed him, uh, and this time I basically could catch him. First of thing that I saw that he will be fighting with me, but no, he was just sitting on my hands. I think he just don't have resources to fight with anyone in that situation. So I brought him to the clinic where he was around few months, and then he got to our shelter because at that time I couldn't get cat to my home. And after that, I get him home, and now he is living here with me. When I get him, he was around up to 4 kilos, and now he up to 7 kilos. I can show you. And now he's fighting. Ah, that's that's a big cat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He likes to chew my hands, but he is a good cat. Yeah, yeah. Also, as you understand, he like to eat very much. That's basically his top hobby. The second is sleeping, of course. I have few cats like that. So they trying to show that they don't like what I'm doing with them, but at the same time they purring. So that's very strange. As you see, he is not trying to escape. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Ням, 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 ну на, ням, ну все, ну. Иди. Ой, 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 ой. Фу. The only thing that it's hard is the hair, basically the amount of hair that I have around the house. I have a cleaning board here, but he is also not make it because too much of this stuff everywhere. Um, I have air blower like that to basically blow all this hair from my working desk, laptop, me. um, that's the only solution that works here, because all this cleaning stuff doesn't help at all. Also, I have, of course, hair in my water, in my meals, basically everywhere. I was even thought about making socks from their hair, because amount pretty big, and that could basically become a good business in some way. 10 a.m. 9 hours difference. Yeah, it's a bit harder to make streams to the US, because basically when you have evening, I have morning, and in the morning basically we have tot too many different routines with cats that I need to do. So no streaming, and in the evening you basically have a morning there. So I don't know how people from US watching streams, in what time mostly. In Ukraine, that's strange, because most streams that I make in here, people watching around like 1 2 p.m. day daily, and that's strange because mostly they should work at that time, but for some reason that's the top time for streams here. And when I'm making streams in the evening, nobody watching them. I mean, in Ukraine. So you can see that, but right now, basically, I surrounded by cats, and they just staring at me, like asking, "What the hell are you doing? Why are not you giving food to us? Yeah, why are you talking to this camera? You know it's not a lie. Yeah, yeah, but there is a people behind the camera. Yeah, look, look, there's people. You know, sometimes I think that cats understand everything. They just not showing that to us, because sometimes they're so clever that even I think humans not so clever as them. It's and sometimes they're playing dumb, uh, showing that they don't understand anything, especially when they did something wrong, and then I don't know, that's not me, that's someone else. That was already like that. I was not doing anything. Yeah. Yeah. Nom, 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 nom. Love them very much. Yeah. My closest friends, and basically my family. Yeah. Yeah, we're spending too much on them, but at least it's not so much as I could spend somewhere abroad, because I have a friend in Germany, and basically only for one cat he spent around 3,000 euro on vet clinic. And if I get such bills here in Ukraine for all of my 200 animals, I don't know what I should to do and where I should work to get such amount of money. So that's hard, especially during the war, when basically most of the people donating to war and soldiers. It's very hard to get donation cats. Most people don't understand why we should help them also. Most of them thinking only about basically saving themselves, and I'm not okay with that because uh, I'm thinking that if country doesn't support animals, then it also doesn't support its nation and its people. Because if you're human, then you should do like the best you can for all of living creatures, not only for yourself. And if you're starting to choose whom help, then you're not helping anyone. And most of people that saying that I need to help people instead of cats, they also not helping anyone. They just walking around and saying this stuff but doing nothing. Yeah, all my cats sterilized. Uh, First of all, because it's simpler to them. Because as you understand, if I have like certain cats, half of them male, half of them female, and not sterilize them, then it will be a hell here. Which then produce amount of kittens that I can support, and I don't know where to bring them. Uh, Another thing is health. If you not sterilize cats, that basically hit on their health, especially when they live at home. So that's another story. And also, it's simpler for me also having such cats instead of not sterilizing them. Um, at least simplify amount of cleaning. Here, also all my cats in the shelters also sterilized. Uh, Most of them, because some of them we can sterilize because of their health status. Not all of them, basically. We can make a surgery because some of them have problem with heart, some of them have problems with kidneys, and basically on the surgery table they will just die. Um, so they are not sterilized and living outside of other group of cats. But there are not so many of such. I think around 8 or 10 cats. Um, but yeah, we need to sterilize every animal that living on the street. That helping a lot. First of all, it minimize amount of kittens and amount of their deaths on the street. uh, because in the village it a little bit simpler. There are not so many cats. They have some food in public places. They have some public shelters. I mean, places where they can hide even in winter. But in the cities, that's just hell. They live in very bad conditions that lead to their infections, to different problems and health issues. Uh, Kittens that they create basically already have too much health issues, and they're just getting worse and worse. So making sterilization help to reduce such amount of pain everywhere. Um, and that's a good thing. But problem that after the war started, I mean full scale war, in the 2022, amount of street cats increased rapidly because almost every people who was leaving the country just throw them away. And that's good when they throw them away because most of them just locked them in their apartment where they died. So, for example, first 2 months of full-scale war, I was my friends and colleagues were saving animals from the closed apartment here in Kiev. I know there was some other groups that was working in other cities, but not so much. And for 2 months, we rescued around, I think, 400 animals from the apartments. But that's a very small number because, as you understand, there are around 7 million people in Kiev, and at least every, I don't know, six have home animal, and most of them were just lived in the apartment when their owners leave the country. So that's what was very hard, and I still can't forget people for doing that. But that's sad story. Let's uh, focus on some positive because too much sadness here. Yeah, cats. Yes, let's show them cats. Кисякин. Кисякин. Yeah. Also, I'm developing an application for cat management. I call that like that because we have too many cats and too many of them need special medical treatment. So we need to give them pills, different stuff, moving them to vet from time to time. And it's very hard to manage that even for certain cats in my apartments. It's hell because I have all these papers with medical treatments plans, and very simple to forget something, and when that's critical, that's a bad thing. So I'm trying to develop applications that basically creating some sort of task manager that helping me prioritize all the treatment, all the medical, so it look like that. So that's basically our day plan for medical treatment for my certain cats. And I tested on myself, and that's really helping. So I think one more week of development, I will get a public release for that application so everyone can download it and use, and hope that can give some additional donation to our fund and to the animals. Yeah, Bandit. Yeah. And how do you basically solve problem with cats in your cities or places where you live? It's interesting because in different countries, in different cities, like very different with that. And I know places not very good where basically they killing animals that living on the streets, and I don't understand that. I understand that that's not good when people when animals living on the street, but killing them, that's not okay. That's same like killing people that homeless. That's insane. And I don't see any difference in living creature like animal, like cats, dogs, cows, or people. So I'm not supporting that, but I know that's happening. I even don't say about countries where people eating cats and dogs. And I understand why people eating animals. That's basically nature. We can't do that with that anything for a long time. But today we have already solutions that can give people meat without killing anyone. For example, we have synthetic meat that basically growing in the lab, and it's the same as like meat of animal. But people still proceed killing animals for food for no reason right now, and that's hard, and even harder when you know when you understand how these animals live in there, because death is not the hardest thing that they have. The type of living in all these farms, that's the hardest thing. Again, I started something negative. Sorry, that's everyday my everyday mood. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ну ладно, не хочешь. Hi. So, guys, tell me a little bit about yourself and your animals. Maybe you have interesting stories to share. No. Ну что ты делаешь? Что ты делаешь? Джо? Кусик, кусик. Ну, давай. Ой, вот так. Вот так. Тёма, 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 да. Нет, нет. Окей. Uh, too much hair. I need to use my blower. Squeaks. Interesting. Did you get him from street, or did you bought him somewhere? That's also one of my big cats that I have here. John? Yeah. They start in their evening play. John raising. You never could try. John. So that was one of the kittens from another cat. Yeah, I had the same story for a few of my cats. Um, I had a cat, Plama. I found also her on the street, and basically I found her with four cats, four kittens. Um, they're very small, so I was trying to find a new home for them, and found them, and they are now living in their families. No, I also like dogs. It's just I have a small apartment here, and it's hard to have a dog. and also amount of time that you need to spend with a dog much bigger than with cat. That's much simpler, basically, um, because at least you need to walk with the dog every day, twice or three times, and with my schedule, that's not always feasible. So gets simpler. In Japan there is a thing, basically not in Japan, that was American product, but most of the clients in Japan. So there is some such thing like a pet stone. So literally, it's a stone that is looks like a pet, and people buying that stones in Japan in big amount was buying it. I don't know about right now, because they don't have enough time for getting a real pet. So they basically get this fake pet, and try and imagine that that's a real one. That's a really strange story, but Japan, in most cases, very strange country. Um, so such things is totally okay. Now they switched to robots, and most of them buy small robots that live in their homes. Because buying animals there, that's a tough thing. First of all, because of price for it living, and another that most of the times they're working and don't have time to be with the animal. But getting a dog is not a problem for me. A few times I almost got a dog here. So there was a funny story about that. Um, I was going from the market near my house, and near the parking I saw a dog that was just running around. For me it was clearly understandable that dog trying to find his owner. it the dog doesn't have any collar on the neck, but it was looking like a home dog. So I was looking for an owner with a dog for few minutes, but then I understand that there are no one there. So I go to my car, get a collar that I always have for such cases, put on a dog, and try to get it to my home. But at some point, the woman screamed on me that, why are you trying to steal my dog? So that was just very stupid owner that didn't buy a collar for his dog. But I almost stole a dog from the owner. And there was few cases like that, very similar. So now I'm checking that twice. uh, yeah, I also lost many animals in my life. Dogs, cats. I'm always trying to think that their life was good with me. Of course, I will never know that, because we we couldn't understand each other. But at least I know that many of the animals that was living with me would die anyway on the streets. So at least they got something better for their life. So, but that's hard when you have too many animals, especially in critical conditions like we. Almost every week someone die, and you can't do anything with that because it just life. I don't know how to say that. Our medicine is not so superior to treat everything, so there are many cases that we can't do anything. For example, kidney disease, when kidneys dying, there is no way to get new one, and that's happening a lot here in Ukraine because of environment and other thing. So many cats dying from that. Basically, almost all of my cats has problem with kidneys, so I'm trying to treat them. But that's a one-way ticket anyway, because you can support kidneys for some times, but you can't treat them. So that's a small story of that, how we're living here. But that's hard to trying to help animals during the war. Too much of everything that's basically not helping us. Um, Starting from the government and ending with the people. We have very brutal people in most cases in Ukraine, not only in Ukraine, but in the whole world. I'm just saying about Ukraine because I know my people, um, and very often they do horrible thing with animals without any reasons. Um, and it's hard to live in such society. Looking into that every day and understanding that just a few people from around can understand your feelings and your thoughts about that. Most of them just thinking that I'm insane because, oh my god, you have so many cats, you're totally insane. That's not normal. Get, I don't know, get a child or two. Why do you need cats? Um, and it's hard to understand how to be human to them, um, because they never did. So, but I think that living life, not trying to help anyone or make this life better to anyone else except yourself, it's of course it's simpler, much simpler, but that's just a fake life. Because I think that every life that living on the our earth should do at least something better for the next generation, at least something small thing, because without there is no future for anyone. And if everyone will just be living for themselves, that who will be living for our future? That's the question. Ah, котики. Котики, вы котики. Ну що ти, Кусь? Ні, ні. Не буду тебе гладити, не буду тебе. Все, все, я на тебе обідав. Все, все, все. Um, Usually I'll play with them like that. At some point, they understand that they did something horrible and trying to do something good for me. Some of them given their toys to me, basically bring them to me. I had even a cat in my childhood. At some point, I think my father told something like that she do nothing in our home, just eating and sleeping. That basically, and we get away from home. I think for one day, and when we came back, there was a cat sitting in the doorway, and basically under her was lying a few mouses that she took. She was looking at my father, then at this, that amount of dead mouses, and just walking away. That was a very cool thing, and that's one more thing that basically showing that animals understand people. Of course, there are big difference in how we communicate, but in most cases, like when you're trying to say something simple, some simple emotions, some simple facts, they understand in most cases. Um, Even when you like calling them, they understand that you're calling them. That's the only thing that cats uh, uh, can understand, but will not do anything. Like humans in many cases. Uh, on the other hand, if you call the dog, he will come to you as fast as possible. And that's a big difference between cats and dogs. So dogs more depend on the human than cats. Cats, they live in their like own life, but they understand that they living in a family. I have a cat, Pusian. Uh, it's a gray British cat. I also found him on the street, and he is basically defending our home when someone that he don't know who, like I don't know, courier or someone else, trying to enter the apartment. He just stands there in a doorway and just I don't know how to say that. Um, basically, trying to defend us and attack on them, and that's look funny because that's a very small cat, but he's become very aggressive at that time. And all other time he's very tender and very pretty cat. But that's basically interesting fact because he trying to protect others. Also, when there like cat fight between someone, he also trying to engage in that fight and move them in different corners, and that's also interesting. So they are very clever creatures, and sometimes even very clever, most uh, uh, more clever than some people. Uh, I think 8 years ago, I was in the very horrible but interesting situation. So I was moving home. It was around midnight. There are almost no cars on the streets, no people, and I was just walking home. And saw on one of the crosswalk a dog, and dog was sitting on a crosswalk looking on the how would say traffic light, um, and waiting. Traffic light was showing red for the pedestrian, and dog was sitting and waiting. At the same time, a little bit farther from the crossing, a man just saw that it will be okay to cross the road in the not good place. And when he crossed on the road, he was basically hit away by the car. he was dead, of course, because car hit him around 1 kilometer per hour, 100 kilometers per hour, so there was no chance for him. But what interesting is that story when the traffic light became green for the dog came up and crossed the road, and that's clearly showed to me that some dogs more clever than some people. Um, and I so many things like that from different angles, but mostly showing the same idea. Also interesting how animals react on the mm, airstrikes, missiles, drones attacks here in Kiev. Um, so most people saying that animals afraid of that stuff, and that's true, but not always. The idea here that if the animals living with a human, first of all, they're looking at the human. If the human is afraid, animals also will be afraid. If you human stay calm, then animals will not afraid anyone or anything. Why it's so? So I have friends that basically living with cats also, and one of my um, friends basically was moving away for months, and he asked me to get their cat for that month. I agreed. And the thing here interesting. So cat was panically afraid of all this airstrikes, that sounds and thing like that. And they tell me that I need to give him pills, so he was not so afraid of that. I understand that giving pills to a cat for such a long time, it's possible, but that's not the best solution, especially when all of my cats not react in any way on all these sounds. So I just look at that cat for a few days, and he was really afraid of that thing. But with time, when he living with me more and more and more, he started to forget that. And when basically I was giving him away to his owners, he was not afraid at all of the sounds. Not because something changed uh, in him, in his reaction to that. No, he's just uh, saw that I'm not afraid that, and as a leader of basically pride here, if he under my protection, he also shouldn't afraid of that. And when I was giving him to the owners, I asked them if they panic during these attacks, doing some like screaming or I don't know, in some way showing that they're afraid. And they say yes, that's scary. And from that, I understand that basically this thing was controlled not by cat but by the owners. So if owners afraid something, cat will also afraid of that. I don't know about dogs. I didn't have a chance to basically analyze such activity, but from the cat perspective, that's truly thing. So basically, when we have attack here, my cat's sleeping like nothing happening. But what they really react is the sound of a meal. I bought some cat feeder, and when he is starting to walk, they just running away from all of the legs to get faster there, because it only one and there only one bowl. The first who get to it, the first will eat. Of course, that's not how I fit in them. It's just for some small stuff that they can eat before between meals. But still. So, guys, do you had some interesting stories in your life with cats, maybe with humans also? Guys, I know you're watching. I see the statistic. So, tell me what you're doing. Where's your cats or dogs? Are you playing with them? Interesting thing that my cats playing with different toys. Uh, so some of them like one toy, one type of toys, another like another types of toys, and that's strange. I don't know, because from my point of view, before I met cats, I saw that they basically try should basically attack anything that's small and moving, like mouses, for example. But that's not the case. They basically have some preference between toy types. Uh, the most of them like things they can basically put in their mouth. That's one of the top priorities for choosing a toy for cats. So if it's something big or like some balls that they can grab, that's a bad toy in most cases. Except the ball that was 1 second. Except toys that was basically moving by itself. I have small ball. I don't know if I have it somewhere here. Yeah. So I have such ball, and he's basically moving around by itself. And cat like that thing, but um, after some time they uh, stop and react on that. But from other so basically, on other hand, I have a small mouses, very small like that, and they can move it in their mouth, and they always play with that. In most cases, of course, they're trying to grab it and put somewhere that I can find, and then I move my fridge, for example, or my PC, and found like 10 or 15 toys there in the corner. um, but that's type of toys I really likes. Of course, there are, you can put uh, something in the toy so they want to catch it more, but not always get uh, activated on that. What is a bad toy is that, so for example, I bought them think like that on AliExpress in China, and only one cat playing with that. Why? Because it making too much noise when it walking, cat more afraid of it than interested in what's happening. So if you buy some toys, it should be also very quiet during the walk. Another thing that they like, um, they basically trying to kill my vacuum robot. uh, when I walk in the morning, I basically turn it on to clean the house from cat hair. And very often I found him when I came back, turn it off by some reason. In most cases, they basically throw something from the table on it, and it basically turn it off. Uh, and I think they basically trying to kill it. I don't know why and what's the plan, but it looks like that because that was not the one case that many of them were in our house. Um, maybe they don't like them, don't like that robot. I don't know, but that's look interesting. Also, I have a camera uh, for looking on the cats when I'm not at home. And interesting thing, for example, right now they're sitting near me doing something, and if I will go on the street and look on the camera, they will start sleeping and do nothing. So they trying to be active only when I'm at home and doing something here. When I'm not at home, they just sleeping. That's like energy saving state, and trying to save more energy to play with me, especially at night when I'm trying to sleep. um, I think it's Yelena trying to message me. One second, guys. Да, да. Та нема за що. Яким чином? Ну, дивіться, все-таки, можливо, в нього було, ну, щось з'їв він погане, тому що якщо він. Тому в будь-якому випадку дайте йому на всяк випадок, то я таксіл, що я казав, налийте йому цієї водички, щоб він. Ну, попросіть когось з сусідів. Він коштує там небагато, цей пакетик. Він там гривень, не знаю, 20-10 коштує. Ну, тут вже ви дивіться, як можна йому це дати. Ну, та це недорого для нас. Просто зараз я роботу там втратив сам. І зараз у нас там фінансові проблеми дуже серйозні через це. Такі, на жаль. Чо? Та возять вони все, то вони просто так відмазуються. Ну, дивіться, що він їсть, щоб там не було проблем потім, тому що, ну. Та нема за що. До побачення. Sorry guys for the interrupting with a call. That was basically one of people that I'm helping. That's a very old woman with cancer. She's living in Kiev, and basically she has a few dogs and around 8 cats. So I trying to help her from time to time because she's a really good person, but in very critical financial and health condition. So, and basically nobody in Ukraine helping her. That's because we have too many funds that are gathering money for helping old people, but when you ask them to help a real person, they just canceling and going away. Because most of that fund just stealing money. That's just for your information. Um, so I'm trying to help her, but right now, as you know, many of you know, I in critical financial condition because I lost my job and basically I'm living on my saving. And by I'm living, I mean all my 200 cats living on that saving, and I'm living, I don't know, a few $100s per month. But that's what we have. So at least bought some food for her dogs and cats so they can be alive for more time. But that's hard because you understand that you can't help everyone, and when you need to choose to whom you help and whom not, that's very tough decision that you can make in your life. Hi. Do you want to tell your story about saving cats or ask some questions? People, please don't afraid to asking me something, because of course I can talk for a long time, but it's more interesting to talk with real people. Doop, doop, doop. Hi guys. So yeah, I paid bills for clinic for the last month, but that was basically all of our money. And right now we have zero in our accounts, and I need to buy more food for cats that we have, and that's basically tough because that was much simpler when I had a work and can basically pay with my own money instead of gathering. And right now we're fully on donations, and the bad thing that we have like the same bills every month, but amount of donation vary from month to month, and when we don't get enough, that becoming a problem that I don't know how to solve because, as you understand, when you don't have money, then you don't have money. Yeah, we're trying to do something for them, but as you understand, that's not simple stuff. Easy. Easy. So guys, how many cats do you have at your home? One, two, 10, 20, 100? Maisie. Maisie. Maisie, иди сюда. Мама. Мама. No, 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 no. Не хоче, не хоче Мейзічка. Ну лягай тут, лягай. Давай, давай, да, да, да. Да, 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 розкажи, розкажи. This is an interesting cat. So her story started one day when I was moving home from my work, and at the enter of into subway, someone called me, and I just picked my phone and started to talk with that person for a few minutes. And when I stopped talking, I understand that something is lying on my feet. I looked down and saw a small kitten that was lying with uh, her belly up and paws like that. And she was so adorable and basically asking my help. So I just get everything from my backpack and put her there. and we got to the clinic where I check her, and then we move to my home and her home right now. And from that time, she's living with me. Very active cat. Yeah, yeah. So, guys, what's happening there on your side? Talk with me. Что такое? Что такое? Что такое? Что такое? Что такое? Что такое? Да, да. Ме. Ще одна киця вийшла. Да. Ой, ой, ой. Ну що таке? Ну що ти? Ні, не так хочеш. There's special routine with this cat. Yeah, yeah. She's coming to me a few times a day and like lying on my chest when I'm lying on my chair. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And only in that way. So when I taking her on hands, that's not a good thing. Yeah, girls. His hair. О, Пусян прийшов. This is my Пусян. Because he's very Пусян. Що? Тільки Пусян. He don't like to be touched. Because he is British, of course. But sometimes he could sit for a few minutes with me. Все таки, все таки, все таки, я тебе не тримаю, все. Иди. Ня, ня. Тихо, тихо. Fighting here. Mm. So guys, write me something interesting. Wow, we have 10 viewers. On my other channel, I have around few thousand viewers. But they're more about politics, so that's not very interesting. There always something to talk about politics. But when talking about cats, you just want to sit and watch them, how they behave, and all this flying hair in the air. Присядь, 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 кажи щось красиве. На нас дивляться. Присядь. М? They watching it us. Do something interesting for you. Yeah, yeah. He don't like to be touched, but as you see, lying near me, and in some way showing his love, or I don't know how to name that. So yeah, that's do. Что ты делаешь? started fighting with each other. Ugh. Guys, anyone? Anyone there? If you think what I'm doing, I'm writing application for cat management, because we have too many cats and we need to manage them somehow, because too much we forget and that's not okay. So I'm writing application to fix that. And someone writing me also. Boom, boom, boom. We just got donation from Diana. That's good. More food to cats. And even more $50 from Grigory Babko. Thank you, guys. Um, Someone running there. Yeah. Almost all of them sitting and watching around me. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah. The oldest cat in my house. She's almost 18 years. But she's a very tough cat. She fighting with everyone. Yeah. And everyone cat, every other cats here is basically afraid of her. And basically she is a leader of our gang. Yeah. Meow, meow. He's coming to me. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow. Все. Ну, Иди, иди до мене, иди до мене. О, може ти девочка. М, Да, что? М, м, Так соединяешь. Да, да. Да, шо? Ну, то есть, пизда, пизда, ой, ой. Пум-пум. М, So, guys, any questions? Please ask any questions that you may have to me. regarding animal rescue or volunteering in Ukraine during the war. I have plenty stories to share with you if you want, of course. Do you have animal volunteers in your cities? Guys? Okay, guys, so I think No more questions for you. So I will stop the stream. Or you want to look how I'm walking, so I don't know. That depends on you. But if any questions, just ask. Mm. Sure. Yeah. Hmm, that's interesting. Someone watching how I'm walking. Китя. Hi guys. Mm. Очечка. Mhm. Ну, тихо. Hey guys. He's still walking, as you see. Yeah, we're trying to do what we can to save that little bastards. But that's hard, because too many resources needed on them. And as you understand, we don't have all that we need. А, и я тебе могу. Hi guys. So we see more people coming to us. Need more light. Так, що я хотів? Hey. Mm. You may be thinking what I'm doing here. Basically, I'm doing this stuff. Um, yeah, because that's not very good widget. Um, and I'm trying to fix it without writing my own. So it's a little bit challenging. Не Квитуся, рыженька, рыженька, підійде. Да, скажи. Ну давай. Да. Люблю тебе. Ой, вибач. Нічого. Такий пушистий хвостик, такий пушистий котячий хвостик. Що, будемо кушать? Будемо кушать? Будем? Кажи, що це тут камера, скажи, яка? Да? Ну, плюхоть, плюхоть, плюхоть. Ой. At last I finished this fucking widget. Um, it's starting to feed them because they wanted to eat already. Да? Покушай? Покушай. Да. Да. Ой, ой, just no, just no. Ну, проходь. doing here? I'm back, and this thing is working. Yeah, it's working. Dee 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 dee. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. Не понял. М, Интересно. Какого ж лешего? Чё же работал? Хм. So I have 13 cats, yeah, that's correctly. And 200 in the shelter. So that's pretty a lot. And how many do you have? Yay, we get more than 1000 views. Then that's much bigger than every my video on this channel. um, you may think what I'm doing here, just sitting on the table. You can ask some questions for me. I'm looking in the chat from time to time. And right now I'm basically creating an application for managing the cats. So here it is. Uh, mm, so it's look like that with my animals, some routines for them, some metrics, things like that. Um, Doing that because it's hard to manage all the medical treatment and different stuff that I'm giving to pets. Um, so I need something to control that, and using application it's much simpler than writing that on some papers and just don't forgetting. So that's why I'm doing that. First of all, it will be a local version, but if it would be good enough, I think I will create another one with additional storage in the cloud, or maybe just add sync button to it. I don't know. So I was basically doing that application for more than a year. No, I'm not such a bad developer. It was a tough year, and basically last year when I started to make it, mm, basically I get a vacation on my work and started to make application. And on the third day, my father got stroke attack and basically got to the clinic, so I don't have time much to work on additional project, and I focused on father health, some issues, family, and other stuff. And after a year, my father died in March in this year, and few weeks ago I lost my job, so it's time to proceed on application. At least something good I will do on these days, because I don't know, it's hard to find a work right now. There are some issues with Ukrainians for getting contracts from USA. So previously I don't have any issues with working on US companies, but today for some reason it's becoming an issue. I don't know why. Maybe there is a political thing, maybe the people just pissed off of what Ukrainian government doing, and I can understand them because I am also pissed off of that. But mm, problem that they don't see difference between me and my government. Um, so still trying to find some normal job, but for some reason that's a problem right now. I talked with my friends abroad who working in recruiting, out staff recruiting, and they saying that there are also many problems from their side. They basically most of them they basically cutting their teams because not so much request from the companies for hiring. I think that's because of too much wars on the planet, and most of the investors just freezing money in their fiat or gold or anything else, and thus no so many projects that needing new developers. So most of them trying to cut the costs. Um, so I hope in few months this will change, but I don't know. Uh, that's a, a big issue globally, so it's not only Ukrainian problem. Mm. So I trying to spend my time with profit, creating some usable things. Um, Also interesting stuff that I'm doing all this stuff using AI. No, of course not only using AI. I understand what I'm doing, but I'm telling that big part of work really helped me to do this AI stuff because it's optimizing things that I need to do. So, for example, I need to redesign whole view on the application, and doing this manually, that's pretty annoying and taking too much time because there are too many different parameters that you need to change by hands. But changing that with the AI agent is just few seconds, and then 1 more minute to fix some issues, and that's all. And that's a huge optimization thing for work to be done, and that's basically remove all routines from your work. That's a cool stuff. Hmm. Interesting. Mhm. Hi. If you have one cat, then soon you will have two cats. That's how I got my certain cats. You think I got all certain cats at once? No, I get one cat with my girlfriend, and then I found another cat. And when I found another cat, it was time for the third one. And then four, fifth, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So, yeah, I have videos about AI agents on my second channel. Um, Basically, this one. And I'm telling them about IT stuff, development, things like that. Also, some sort of psychological issues and how psychology used to manipulate people. That's also part of my job. In my childhood, I was working in social engineering area, so playing with people minds, and it's like part of my old job. So I'm interested in that area, so I'm doing videos about that also. I'm also thinking to create additional channel for English speaking people, because basically I'm sharing in Russian and Ukrainian. But that's not the best thing for YouTube, so I'm thinking about moving to the English auditory. What the fuck are you telling me? Okay, let's do this. Personally, I think that AI agents is a big future that will definitely help in many areas. It's already helping. Mm. What the fuck? Mm. Hi guys. No, I'm not streaming on Twitch. I don't know. I never was on that platform, and in most cases, people streaming about games and things like that. Some sort of politics, very strange. I saw few um streams there about politics, and that I don't know how to say that's very strange discussions, and I think things that I'm telling to people will not work there because auditory have like much lower age. Even on YouTube, it's hard to stream about many things because people just don't understand. Yeah. Mhm. Mm, just chatting. Interesting. Can you share a link for that? I will take a look. Блять. Фу. Mm, hmm, interesting. Doop, 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 doop. Hmm. Interesting. Hmm. О, наконец-то. It's interesting how people like to watch how I'm working. That's a little bit strange, but okay. I still need views. Um, as you see, cat got their food, and after feeding, when sleeping, yeah, except this one. Биотик. Не? Ля-ля-ля-ля-ля. Вот так вот. So guys, what are you doing? I just fixed navigation in the application because for some reason it became broken after last update. Do. Okay. Так. Okay, I think we can stop this streams. Very strange one, but anyway, it's better than nothing. Um, Thank you for being on that. I hope to make more streams about animals, and I hope people will be more talking on them because it's hard to talk only from one side. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you not subscribed yet, and hope you see soon. Bye, guys.